Well, another victory. Believe in Chargers, low 2-0 to start the season. Awfully exciting. Monday Night Football, Friday Night Football. We got two primetime games. We got a 2-0 record. We got Justin Herbert at the top of the MVP odds after two incredible games. Our friends at FanDuel, we always appreciate them, Low. Thanks so much for the support from them. They had, I believe, if I remember right, the season total, and I don't want to put FanDuel on blast here. I mean, they're
Yeah.
setting the line or anything like that, but I want to say Herbert's touchdown total at the start of the year, because I know we talked about it here, was I think 21 or 22 and a half. And our guy Herbert's got five already, man.
Wow, it has been absolutely electrifying watching this team play. We and you and I have been talking about the beginning of the year before the season started. We said, what is it going to take for this team to be good and not good, but possibly even great? Complementary football.
Yeah.
And right now, they're playing the best in the NFL. I don't think there's a defense that is more stingier and more stout than this LA Chargers D when you think about what they've been able to do. If you can keep this if this defense allow what they've done thus far, of course we got to talk about Herbert, but if they stay on this track, you win the Super Bowl. If you hold teams under 21 points or less, you should win during their 90 to 95% of your games if you can keep teams under 21. And this team has done that week in and week out. It's been absolutely electrifying watching this team play complementary football on both sides of the ball, special teams, everything. They have been playing good football.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you watch the Monday night game against the Raiders, and there was just never a doubt. When you watch the way the defense was playing, you could see that the Raiders just had nothing going. Now, a big part of that is Brock Bowers wasn't right. You could see that. And he's the straw that stirs the drink there. Everything operates off of him because of what just a threat he is. The second he steps on the field, you have to be aware of him probably with 1.5 to 2 bodies. And you could just see it wasn't right. That
Right.
the explosion wasn't there. And I think once that was taken away, and look, that's football. This is chess. Where's the weakness? And once you saw that weakness, man, I'll tell you, there were a couple moments we were going into the game and you put together all the stats and try to figure out where you can work them into
Right.
the broadcast. And one of them was Geno last week or in week one against the Patriots, 44% blitz. On those blitzes, he completed 9 of 13 passes for 185 yards and a QB rating of 131. And the Chargers blitzed him a couple times, and it worked out a couple times. And then you could see him just adjust. And it's like, you know what? We're rushing 4. We're going to do some exotic things with our 4. You're not going to be able to see where it's coming. Might be coming from a corner, might be coming from a safety, might be coming from a linebacker, might be all 4 D linemen. But once they made that adjustment, it was over. Like
Over.
it was over.
Money. That's a great observation. They put him in the made him play from the phone booth. They moved him off his spot. They made him starting to see ghosts. He was you saw him just kind of looking around in the pocket. The game sped up to him. And you compared to New England, where he had time, he knew where the blitz was coming, eating them up, getting rid of the ball. He tried to do timing routes with the Chargers and said, okay, we're throwing to a spot. The defense, Mentor had those guys already in the spot. They were playing off the receivers, even though they have fast guys. They never ran them out of their coverage. They never stepped on their toes and made them turn their shoulders. They set at sticks. You had linebackers, Henley, dropping into the zones, dropping underneath those, intercepting balls, deflected. They had guys around the ball and thinking Geno was thinking one thing and the Chargers was doing another. It was unbelievable defensive coverage, and it was great pass pressure with just 4. And at times, our guy, the one who you love, Derwin Jackson. Oh my goodness. The guy was a wrecking machine.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you mentioned Derwin and you mentioned Dante combined. They had that combination on the interception. Dante Jackson on the interception, Derwin on the tip. Derwin, like you said, was everywhere. Daiyan was everywhere. And I think that's the strength of this defense. We talked about the defensive line. Look, Thule was a menace, man. I know that you look at. I should pull up the pressure rates here because I had them a minute ago. Your pressure rates were were off the charts. So Thule had 6 total pressures, a 15% pressure rate. But how about our rookie? So Tito, they swap out Tito for Naquan Jones. Naquan didn't play a single snap in the Chiefs game. And in this game, he ends up playing 16 pass rush snaps. On those 16 pass rushes, he ends up getting a QB hit. He ends up getting a pass deflection, one of 15 passes defensed by the Chargers. 15 by, I believe it was 9 different players that ended up with 15 pass deflections. And like I mentioned, the 6 pressures. But how about the rookie, man, Jamari Caldwell? And we talked about when they drafted him that this is almost 2 different players. You look at the Jamari Caldwell at Houston, and he was an upfield pass rushing interior lineman. And then he gets to Oregon. He puts on about 30 pounds, and he's eating up double teams so Derek Harmon can feast and be that pass rushing specialist on the line. And in this one, 21, let's see, where is it? Jamari had 23 pass rush snaps, 5 pressures, a 22% pressure rate. He ends up with 4 hurries and a sack for the rookie. And Khalil, and I bring it up because Khalil Mack goes out after dominating in every one of his snaps. And you're like, oh, he already had a sack. He's got a hurry. He's got a hit. He's got a tackle for loss. And you're like, how are they going to overcome this? And then you look and you see Tier Tart, 24% win rate on his pass rushes, 20% pressure rate, 20%. One of every 5 snaps, this guy is pressuring the quarterback. And man, we can't say it enough. I think fans shouldn't know the names of position coaches, but Charger fans know Mike Elston, D-line coach. They know Steve Klinkscale, defensive backs coach. They know Navarro Bowman, linebackers coach. These guys are coaching their tail. Adam Fuller, safeties coach. They're coaching their tails off, man. And the Raiders just had 0. I can get into it throughout the course of this, Lo. I'll keep throwing out some stats. But just as someone who's been asked to pass pro and you're trying to figure out what Jesse Minter's doing, and like just if you can, kind of share the challenges of not knowing. You got 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. They're only rushing 4, but you don't know where they're coming from.
You don't. And when you saw freaking Derwin come in, they do it, ET, Cleo loops in, makes the sack. Gentry tries to come off and block, and it makes the quarterback move just a little bit, runs into Cleo. See, people don't, it's the other guys, like you're saying. Everyone, okay, Cleo, unbelievable. And I hope we got to talk about him because this guy at his age, what he's doing, dominating, run point of attack. You can try to run reverses against him. He gets out there. He can run. The guy's running down plays. He's got juice. I can't wait till he comes back. Hopefully this won't be too long of an injury because he is a game changer and is a wrecking ball out there. But you watch the different games that they were able to play. I gave my game ball to the interior, like you said, the interior lineman. What they did, they created a new line of scrimmage. You saw the big boy you talked about from Oregon putting the center in the quarterback's lap, getting double team, pushing the pole pal back. I'm like, this guy is a wrecker. I said, man, can you replace last year? You had another guy that did so phenomenal. I was like, I don't know if you can replace him. You've been high on this young man. He came in and absolutely dominated a game for a rookie to have that type of pressure. Not only that type of pressure, in the past game that had the quarterback seeing ghosts, that moved him off his spot, that made him not, ineffective. He made them dink, dunk. The defense played so well and wasn't giving up anything long that you made Geno have to get rid of the ball quick, dink and dunk, and you can't do that. It's not sustainable against the Chargers defense because it's too long. It's too hard to be perfect on that. But the defensive front, getting after quarterback, and not just that, think about what they did to Gentry as a runner. He came out that first play. He drops the helmet on the safety, picks up like 10 yards. They said, okay, guys got to hold better gaps. The defensive line played a lot better after that big run. Yes, he got his at times, but they did a great job of shutting down the run too, because that game, yes, the Chargers dominated, but the Raiders were in that game the first half, but you've seen the dominance that the Chargers would let them drive up and down the field, but they couldn't get in the end zone.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was trying to pull up my old board. I left my board in Vegas, so I didn't have it in front of me. So I got to go back to my computer where I had all this stuff on my notes. So it's perfect that you talked about the Dinkin and Duncan, right? Because Geno against the Patriots, 9 passes over 20 yards, 3 passes over, and I'm talking about air yards. This is not, because on Monday it was all yak. He did not have, so 9 passes over 20 yards, air yards. You know how many he had against the Chargers?
How many? Zero. No chunk plays. No 20-yard plays.
0.
Wow.
9. Guy had 9. He was averaging 10.6 yards per pass attempt. Chargers and the running game was okay. Genty played pretty well. You know, he had a couple, broke off a couple good ones.
Yeah.
They held the, let me just pull up the team stats. They held, I want to say it was 4 point, what was it? Team stats, yards per play, 3.4 yards per play. Like, I know maybe it's hard sometimes to understand, you know, out of context what that means. 3.4 yards per play is nothing. The Chargers had 5.8, almost double that, right? And 3.4 is nothing. You want that thing to be over 4.5 to over 5, and 3.4 is nothing. That's what that defense was doing. And again, it was okay. And that's what I love so much about Jesse Minter is he'll go in and you'll see different things early, and some things are working and some things aren't. And then by the middle of the first quarter, end of the first quarter, he's got his rhythm, and he's like, okay, I got it now. Geno, to put it in eyesight terms, Geno basically got a cataract in the first quarter because everything just got cloudy out there, man. The way that Jesse was doing it by just rushing 4 and mixing it up on the back end with 7 guys, it was just foggy. He couldn't see it, Lo.
He couldn't. When you saw Minter come after him with just 4, and at the games that they begin to play with 4, and at times bring a linebacker, it made it so cloudy because the safeties and the corners, they were playing sticks. You saw them. How many balls got? I know you have all this
15.
stats. How many? 15 batted balls.
15 pass breakups. Yeah, 15. Not necessarily batted. That includes all the PBUs.
Yeah, batted, back down. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you think about what they did, you saw those guys knocking balls down the line of scrimmage. You saw DBs breaking on the ball. They knew that the sticks, third down, they played absolutely proficient, efficient. They understood what the Raiders was trying to do. It got them in 3rd and 4 or 5 or more. And you saw those corners. Safeties wasn't giving up anything deep. They said, let's play the sticks. And they were breaking on the ball. And Geno was letting it go. And the DBs breaking on him before the receivers even coming back. That is attention to details. That's technique. That's assignment. And that's knowing what you're doing. That was unbelievable by this defense. Money, I'm telling you, that defensive performance the other night, and I know Raiders played against, New England. New England found a way to beat Miami. New England, everyone's saying it's going to be a bad team. I get it, but they got some heart. You know who's coaching that guy is over there, Rabel. You know who Rabel is. You've seen him play. You know the kind of man he is. You know what he's going to get guys to fight. You can't be lazy out there. The Raiders went in there and handled them. They beat them up. You saw that this team, this LA Chargers team, defensively, schematically, and understanding attention to details, they played lights out and they broke on everything, kept everything in front of them. Like you said, 0 chunk plays, 0 chunk plays.
0.
And last week, Geno had 8 or 9 of those. They shut him down. Secondary did unbelievable. This defense to me, God, if you can play this type of defense, money, this is going to be an unbelievable year.
So think about, the fourth quarter starts, the Chargers, and it was, it was interesting. I thought for sure they were going to go for it on 4th and goal from the 1. They get that 1st and goal at the 5. You score that touchdown, the game is over. It, like I said, it never felt like it wasn't over. You could just, the way the defense was playing, you're like, yeah, you're up 20 to, you're up 14, no chance there. But at the same time, it's like you're up 24-6 and it's over.
Right.
It's definitely over. So the very next drive, again, it's Jesse Minter, man. He's so good. He's like, okay, you know what? Clock is our friend. We're up by 2 touchdowns. The one thing we cannot do is let these guys have those explosives they had last week. So we're going to give them everything. We're just going to give it to them underneath. 19 plays, 62 yards, down 14, right? They are down 14 points at the start of the fourth quarter, and they end up going 19 plays in 11 minutes and 15 seconds. and settle for a field goal. And because on third down, what do you get? You get a holding. You get the 10-yard penalty, and then you end up, keeping it, putting the lid on it, tightening things up. Yeah, a 6-yard pass, and it's like they can't go for it on 4th and 13. Like you can't do that. You got to take the 3 points and, make it a field goal touchdown game instead of risking it still being a 2-touchdown game. And I'm like, man, you end up getting 11 minutes, 15 seconds. And I'll tell you, man, it was game over at that point. It's like, I can't believe they ended up holding them to a field goal attempt after an 11-minute drive down 2 touchdowns.
It was like you're down 2 touchdowns, but you're in the 4-minute drill. It was like the Raiders are on 4 minutes trying to eat up clock because they couldn't get in the end zone, and then they have to settle for 3. I knew it was over at that point too, when you have to settle for 3 because they said we just can't do it. And then when you saw right after that, Geno goes to the sideline, and when you see him and Carroll singing "Kumbaya" and he's holding his hand and he's trying to talk to him, I said, cut my legs off and call me Shorty. It's over. They're singing "Kumbaya" together, and I knew it was done.
Yeah, and then you know what? But here's the thing. So think of, and we could see it, right? It's understandable. It's 11 minutes, and what did I say? It was 11:50, 11:15, 11 minutes, 15 seconds. That the defense is on the field. 11, and then what happens? The Chargers come out and they run a drive. They turned it over on downs on that very questionable 4th down call at midfield. Again, you don't go for it on 4th and 1 from the goal line, and you're going for it on 4th and 1 from your.
I think he was trying to save
49.
the defense.
It just
that was defense were out there all that time. I think he was
right.
That was a bad play call to me. I would have ran.
That's
Jefferson
it.
Maybe should have stepped it.
Give me Najee Harris. Give me Amari Hampton, and let's run behind Mekhi Becton and Scott Matlock. I'd rather do that than those, because just those jet sweeps haven't worked. They didn't work last year. They tried it with Q a little bit earlier. It lost 2 yards, and it's like, dude, your strength is you've got this 245-pound back in Najee, or a 225-pound back in Amari Hampton, 290-pound fullback, and a 370-pound right guard. Just run it right there. Just right. That's, what's the shortest distance between 2 points? A straight line. Not a wide-ranging arc that covers 40 yards. So point being, though, they turn it over on downs, and they're on the field for let's see, what is it? They're on the field for, sorry, everybody, I want to make sure I got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Defense has to go right back out there. Right back out there.
On a short field.
On a short field, and what do? It was the play you talked about at the top, the Derwin. And that's the thing about Derwin, man. Like, we're on the 8th, we're 8 stories up where we're calling the game, and, man, you could hear it. You could hear pads popping. And granted, we have a mic on the field and stuff, but you could just feel the physicality, and Derwin's got pads popping. And then on that interception, man, I'm sure Geno's like, wait, Derwin's playing dime backer, and he's probably like, I got it, man. I'm going to drop it right here in the bucket between Derwin and Dante. And it's like, that's what leads Jim Harbaugh to say that Derwin James is the greatest safety he's ever seen play football. When that dude has that kind of pop and that kind of violence in his game, and yet he still has the speed and the athleticism while in a full sprint trying to recover on that deep throw to the end zone to then get, I shouldn't be talking. This is you, Lo, to talk about having that explosion in your legs while you're in a full sprint after an 11.5-minute drive you've been on the field for, to get up and tip that ball. It's stupid. It's stupid what that guy's able to do.
Exactly. When you see this team, that's why you don't know what Derwin James is playing. You don't know if he's playing Mike. You don't know if he's playing safety. You have to realize the Tampa 2. You remember Tampa 2 defense where you got the Mike running middle? That was kind of Tampa 2. He's playing, Derwin's taking the seam. He runs in the seam, able to run with him, and then just jump and throw the header to tip the ball to get the interception. But like you alluded to, a couple plays before that, Geno scrambling. Derwin James hits the tackle.
Yeah.
And I said, hush hog, I hear a bear. That sucker hits him. He puts the tackle on skates. I'm talking about, you're talking about a safety coming and money. He's walking him back. I said, go ahead, boy. I said, show me what you're working with. I'm watching this game, Money. Like, I'm like, I can't wait to talk about this play. He hits him. He buckles the tackle, and the tackle's trying to reset to drop his hips. Derwin's driving him back. Then you think the play's done. Derwin spins. He gets out of it. He runs Geno down, makes Geno uncomfortable. That right there is the epitome of hard work. That is going nonstop. That's playing snap the whistle, playing to the play's over. That play right there, to me, that Derwin, that put him in the Pro Bowl. That play, if you go watch that play, every coach should play that for their safeties. And this is how you want to play when you can rock a tackle, still get up off the ground, still go out there, put pressure, dive and try to get the sack, then get up off the ground because he's scrambling and running. It was legendary.
I'm looking at it right now, and that's Colton Miller that he's pushing back. And you're talking about there's a reason why there's weight classes in boxing. You're talking about a guy that's given up 100 pounds, probably 100, if not more, 100 pounds, 100 pounds. And he's got Colton Miller on skates. Actually, no, it was DJ Glaze. It was DJ Glaze they ended up getting. Sorry, I was
71, right? Glaze
71, yeah. He was getting DJ. He got DJ Glaze on the skates. I just watched it again because I had it flagged as I was doing that as well. But that's 100 pounds. You're giving up 100 pounds, and he's got a dude on skates, chucks him with one hand and gets a Geno with the other. And then, like we said, on that pivotal interception after the turnover on downs at midfield, hey, man, my bad. Can you pick me up again, defense? I know you've been picking us up all game, but can you do it one more time? Yep, we got you, coach. We got you. Interception in the end zone. And then after the Omari and Hampton fumble, and that's just tip your cap to Max Crosby, man. What a freaking animal that dude is. He is an absolute animal. And what do? 4 and out. Like, yeah, whatever. We got you, man. We just got the 4 and out, and we could have iced the game here. Just run the ball a couple times, and everybody can go home. Nope. Strap it back up, man. Let's get back out there. 4 and out. And there's a reason why, Coach, when he gave out the game balls, he just immediately was like, hey, guys, game balls, defense. Everybody get up here. That's it. Those are the game balls.
And the thing about it, Money, the reason why the Raiders, oh my God, it got a chance. There's 3 minutes left. You're only down 2 scores. You're like, oh my God, the defense, Amari and Hampton's just put the ball on the ground. The reason why the Raiders couldn't do anything because they took their heart. I'm just going to tell you they took their will. They out-hit them. In the first half, you saw the Raiders hanging in there. Game was in the ballot, still fighting. You saw the Raiders, the energy they're playing. They came out and said, we're gonna match your energy. The Raiders said, we're gonna match it. By the fourth quarter, that last 3 minutes, you saw the Raiders were looking for the bus. They said, you know what? Let's lick our wounds. Let's go get an ice tub and let's get out of here. Let's get through this game. Because even when he fumbled the ball, so the guys going crazy on the sideline, the Raiders, we got this. You didn't see that because they were beaten. The Chargers kicked their up and down the field. And kudos to the Raiders. I'm not saying it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, they snatched their heart. They were the body.
You would know it, Lo. You know what it feels like out there. No one ever snatched your heart, that's for sure. But you certainly snatched a number yourselves. We could talk about and obviously this is something that we talked about at length last year. The fact that Daiyan Henley wasn't in the Pro Bowl and they had 4 different alternates that went ahead of him was just look. It was a football crime. It was a crime against football, is what that was. So I'm happy that Daiyan, in these 2 prime, because that's what you have to do, right? When it's prime time, you got these people that
got to shine.
Watch. So, but it's a standalone game, so everybody's watching. And now you got that huge sack of Patrick Mahomes in week 1, and you got an interception to open the game against Geno. You got, his line, Daiyan's line, if I'm going to try to remember it, 10 tackles, interception, sack, tackle for loss, 2 passes defensed. That's what if my memory serves correct. Let me so what do we got? 10 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 2 passes defensed. I'm sorry, Daiyan, I shorted you a tackle for loss. That's what he put together out there, man. 7 solo tackles for Daiyan, and he's not only Pro Bowl, he is leading the league in all pro at linebacker now, at off-ball linebacker, and what he's able to do and by the way, I don't know if you saw him, but you're talking about a guy that was running a 101, 102 degree fever, sweating like, just sweating something gnarly in oxygen on the side, blankets on the sideline. It was the flu game for Daiyan, and he was
Michael Jordan like.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he was listed as questionable, and it came out early in the day that they downgraded Daiyan to questionable illness, and then you saw him get out there and starting to walk through warmups, and when you got the flu, you can just see that kind of hang in your face,
Yeah.
and we're like, oh man, this is a Daiyan game with Brock Bowers and how much they like to use the middle of the field, and then first play of the game, and he said it in the post game too. He's like, yeah, I wasn't feeling great, man, but first play of the game, get my interception. He's like, all of a sudden, see you later, adrenaline, and I'm good, man. I'm good. And that was Daiyan's second career interception, and both of them in Vegas. Had it last year in Week 18 and had it to start the game there. One of 3 interceptions. Tony, gosh, I want to move on to the offense here.
I know. No, it's okay. We know it's okay. Daiyan had the time.
I said this in the game. I don't know how you can put Tony Jefferson back on the practice squad. I don't see how he doesn't get snatched up. Every single time the guy played in a game last year, he made an impactful play. And before the game, DJ said on the pregame, he's like, 23's playing today with Elijah out. You know what that means? And I was like, yep, it means Tony Jefferson's going to make a play that we're going to be talking about after this game. And man, what an interception on the 1-yard line. Again, Geno trying to force the explosive and Unk out there, getting that interception. And I don't know how you can put him back down there and expose him, unless the only thing I can think of is that he let it be known across the league, like, hey man, I got my family down in San Diego. I'm good here. If you pluck me, I'm just going to retire. That's the only thing I can think of, because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
That they're able to stash him there with him being this good.
I don't understand it. I got the Niners on the phone. I got everyone on the phone. Look at the way the safeties and secondaries are playing. This guy can play. Unk is all over the field. He's a student of the game. You watch the way he covers, how he gets people lined up. I don't know if it's just this defense is tailor-made for him, or is it because he knows this defense so well?
Yeah.
Because this guy can play. He's all over the field. I love when you see an older player, like getting it done at this age, but just making plays, constantly getting interceptions. Like you said, I don't see how they can hide him either, because the guy's just too good.
Yeah, I mean, 33 years old, out of football for a year and a half, and 2 years, because he had the injury, and then following the injury, he ends up doing the scouting for the Ravens for a full year before he came back last year. And here he is at 33 years old. Career interception number 5 for Tony Jefferson came in that game. And he's just, man, he's such a good dude. He is such a good dude. I will say this. They were playing baseball. They were playing catch before the game, and it was Thule, it was Troy Dye, I think it was Marlowe Wax, and it was Tony Jefferson. And I know Unk ain't gonna like this. Don't be throwing a baseball, man. Don't put yourself out there looking like that throwing a baseball, man.
He looked that nasty. He looked bad.
Tony, you're an athlete, man. You're a professional athlete. You're one of the finest physical specimens walking the earth. When I see it look like that throwing a baseball, it's a kick to my gut. And I don't.
Oh, wow! For the money to say that, wow!
I don't want to see it, man. He kept short hopping. He was like trying to throw. They were in a square, and he was fine when he was throwing, short, but he would try to go diagonal, and it was just like, oh, come on, man, you got to get some extension on that arm, and it was just kind of right here, and it was come on, Tony.
He was a handyman.
Maybe he was saving his shoulders. He was just like, it was just kind of like this. It was like this. And I was like, no, you gotta get out here, man. Get the thing up there.
Yeah.
But I love him. He's one of my favorite. And everybody will say that. You talk to anybody that works with the team, and they'll tell you, man, Tony is an absolute favorite, and he's just the best. And so I could not be more happy for him. And I think that's kind of when we go through the 53, it's important to remember when everyone's like, oh, you got to protect Nico Reed, and you got to protect Marlowe Wax, you got to protect Eric Rodgers, and you got to protect Kendall Williamson. It's like, yeah, those guys aren't going to play. Like they're not going to play. Like they are hey, this is a good depth piece. If we got an issue with an injury, this is someone we can count on, for a week or two. Tony's a guy you can rotate in there, man.
He
He can be active every single week, and you can drop him in there and give Alohi or give Elijah or give Derwin, because he's certainly strong enough to play up in a box too. You saw him, man. He had a couple blitzes where he got back there and was thumping some dudes. So, yeah, I think that's trying. Yeah, if I had any, when we're recording this, let me just kind of hit the news real quick. KHALIL. Here we go. Khalil Mack. Chargers get positive injury update.
Oh, great.
So Garofalo back in a few weeks. Not expected to miss the rest of the season. It is a dislocation of the elbow. He is projected to be back in a few weeks. So
that's good. That's big.
So that's good. Now, I think the few weeks is different than rest of the season. Rest of the season, I think you're out there probably seeing if, there are some teams that are 0-2 that are already looking toward next year based on the way they're playing. And if they got an edge that you can go out there, Bradley Chubb in Miami kind of comes to mind. But I think a few weeks, you know what? Kyle Kennard, man, time to put on your big boy pants.
Yep.
You've been inactive for the first 2 games. You were the SEC Defensive Player of the Year last year. Didn't quite see enough in the preseason to keep you active in these games, but time to put on those big boy pants and get out there and help this team out, because we know what's in there. I mean, certainly we saw it in the SEC, man. You lead the SEC in sacks and you get the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. It's in there. That to me is probably the approach they're going to take. I don't know where let me see where Tremont is. Where is he at? Tremont is he? So he might just still be out there. Tremont Morris Brash he's still out there. So I think they could end up picking up Tremont, because he played some pretty darn good edge. I thought it was neck and neck with he and Caleb Murphy for which of those 2 guys would make it as the 4th edge. So I think they'll probably go out, get Tremont, sign him to the practice squad if he's just kind of out there. And then it'll be between he and Kyle Kennard to figure out who's going to be active and who can try to. That's what's interesting, though, about what we saw in that game, Lo, is we had. So think about Justin Aboigbe, right? He's interior defensive lineman, puts on 20 pounds in the offseason, and it's so good to hear a coach preach something and then to see it put into practice. And when they talk about cross-training and, why are you playing Zion at center? Just in case. If something happens to Bradley and we feel like, is this our next best center, or is Andre James our next best? Like, is Andre James our next best guard and Zion's our next best center? Like, how do we want this? And we saw it with Aboigbe, right? Hey, put on 20 pounds. Let's get you interior, a little more mass on you.
Right.
And then what does he do? He goes out and fills in at edge for Khalil, and he's out there with some pressures, and he's out there setting the edge and playing well, obviously holding the team to helping to hold the team to 3.4 yards per play. So that was good to see that here's Aboigbe, a guy that got almost no snaps last year. They asked him to build his body up a little bit, and then when put into it, like, hey, man, need you on that edge. Set the edge. Don't worry about sacks or anything. Just set the edge for us. Play strong, stout, run defense, and we're going to be good. And he did. And he did it to a T. And it's just so impressive to see what this staff is able to do, not only in a game plan, but inside of the game, adjusting for what issues become presented. Like Khalil Mack going out and trying to figure out, when you only got 3 edges on the team, with Bud Dupree, Caleb Murphy, and Thule, and how are you going to adjust? And that's it, man. Hey, need you.
Yeah, guys go out. Yeah, you ask how they're going to adjust. You heard Harbaugh. They asked him during the halftime. You probably didn't see it because you're up in the box, and he goes, "This team's going to rally. We're going to be fine. Yeah. Someone's going to step up," and they stepped up. And it goes to show you this team is built that way. And you got to give Harbaugh and just this organization a lot of credit, just the way that they're playing. When you think about this team, you say, okay, we know offense entertains and defense wins championships. Last couple of weeks, we talked about, hey, look, Herbert, we know he's top 10, top 7 or 8 quarterbacks in the league, bar none. We know that Herbert is he's in that conversation. And it's like, okay, we need to see a signature win. Not, he's won some games, and we know Herbert, he a lot of times he would even get more praise because he's been in shootouts, and just so happened, like you said, the defense would let him down. Yeah. And so Herbert took the blame. But now when you have a defense that plays lights out, You know what? He's making these checks even more dominant. And it's not to say he couldn't do it, but I think he's even playing with more poise. When you see Herbert took down Mahomes, Geno, and you're watching now in the pocket, I think the game has slowed down to Herbert. Herbert doesn't get happy feet in the pocket. At times, I'm watching the game saying, Herbert, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball. But he's sitting there just, I'm going to stay in here to the last minute, to let it go. And then when he's in trouble, when things seem to break down, Herbert is taking off and running and knowing how to get down, knowing how to slide. He's really taking his game, to me, Money, to the next level with the cerebral part of it. The game slowing down, letting the trash fill, letting the trash get by him.
Yeah.
He's taken the next step, in my opinion. He's been lights out. We know that he's got a big arm, but the way that he orchestrates and the way within he plays right now in these two games, it's been pretty impressive.
It has, and I'll tell you, it's no different than what he did last year. When he started last year, I was trying to find my game notes here. Where are you? Come on, man. I want to make sure I got it right. I can't remember how many games how many attempts it was. I want to say it was close to 400. He had almost 400 attempts without an interception, and you see some, and you love to see carryover, right? Like, hey, are you able to build on what you did last year? Because we've got all the same coaches, the same offense, a lot of the same players, and that's something that when you talk about Patrick Mahomes versus everybody else, Josh Allen's on his third offensive coordinator, but the same head coach. Justin Herbert is on his third head coach, and it was Shane Lombardi, Kellen, and now so he's on his fourth offensive coordinator.
Wow.
And his third head coach. So now it's like, okay, we got all this continuity from last year to this year. No interceptions last year, finished the regular season with 3, and he's got 0 interceptions. He's got 5 touchdown passes. Last year, the defense had a string of 10 games to start the season where they did not allow over 7 points in the first half. And what do we got? 6 in Brazil, 6 in Vegas. Like, everything is all the positives have picked up where they left off last year. And so it's a perfect way to flip to the offensive side. Herbert started the game 1 of 5 for 5 yards. That's the start to the game. 1 of 5, 5 yards. From that moment on, he went 18 for 22 for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, it's ridiculous. And he's doing it averaging 9 yards per attempt. It's not dinking it. That's 9 yards. And he was their leading rusher. And that's something, if you want to, when we're going to nitpick, that's something to get into. But Herbert, 9 yards per attempt. And obviously a big part of that is what? C and Q.
Downfield,
yards,
going vertical.
Right. And what a throw, Lo. What a throw, what a catch, what a play.
And the thing about it, Money, just like you alluded to, what a throw. It's like the ball traveled 50, 60 yards in air. Yeah. And he dropped it right in the breadbasket. But here's the thing, Money. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, what a great throw, a great catch. But guess what? Last year, the year before, that same ball was thrown, and we know what the outcome was. Yeah. It was a drop. Let's be real. Yeah. But you just see how Q is just like morphed into this player. You see now, I'm telling you, watching these two, 13, and we know McConkey, watching him in Q, not in the Q, but the Ageless Wonder, Keenan,
yeah.
What those two do for the other guys. The other guys are going to eat in this offense because you got 2 guys, 2 receivers that you can't cover. Keenan and McConkey, I mean, they're both wide open. Herbert's just got to pick his poison at times. Yeah. I mean, even there was one in the second quarter. I know Herbert would like to get it back.
Oh, to Keenan. That was the fourth down or third down throw.
The third down throw, and McConkey streaking across, running a deep cross.
Would have been I know, wide open.
Wide open. Okay, yes. Why he's coming across wide open?
He threw the out to the left side. And he underthrew Q.
Yes,
he underthrew him, and he had McConkey streaking
for a touchdown.
It would have run to the touchdown. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It is, and that just goes to show you the type of offense and how explosive. Yeah. And you still end up making it up, getting a big play of that statue anyway. it's hard to duplicate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That means your receivers are getting open. They can't cover. McConkey catches the ball in double coverage, and he leaves the one guy standing, pulling up his drawers, and he's up on the safety. That he gets in and out that quick, and if you can't tackle him, the first guy usually doesn't get to him because he's so quick in and out. And then Keenan can sit down in coverage. Herbert knows where he's at. This offense, man, and it's going to get better. The run game has still got to morph into more, but you're watching the way that they're orchestrating this offense. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You mentioned Keenan, and Keenan had that huge fourth down catch, and like just that play, to me, that play was, and I should pull it up just so I can remember exactly what it was. Love having these tools in front of me. I'm trying to. I don't remember if I have. Let's see. Here we go. Receiving stats. Let's go to Keenan, who had receptions. Here we go. Quick video. 4th and 2. Here's the thing about this play as I'm watching. I know nobody else can see it, but you sent Matlock, and I'm just going to run it through for you. Matlock in motion, right to left. Here, let me go sideline view instead of the end zone. So here we go. You have McConkey and Keenan next to each other inside the numbers right side. McConkey in the slot, Keenan outside. They're bunched. Q's outside the numbers left. Hampton's in the backfield. Herbert under center. It's almost a bunch formation with Matlock as a tight end with McConkey. So it's a bunch right just inside the numbers. Balls center of the field between the hashes. They send Matlock in motion right to left. He attaches to Alt on the left side of the line. And then they run him back. And I bring this all up because so many people get excited about McVay and Kyle Shanahan and all the eye candy and all the motion. Greg Roman is motioning. He's got to have a guy in motion 85 to 90% of these plays. So he is doing that right now. So Matlock back in motion, left to right, play action to Amarian. Amarian and Matlock team up on Crosby, and Amarian gets his shoulder into his ribs, lifts him off the ground. So now what's it called? Now Max Crosby is out of the play. He's coming after he's coming after because Trey is blocking down. So it's Crosby on Matlock, right? A former defensive tackle who's now a fullback. Amarian ends up comboing and lifting him up off the ground, and that gives you the extra time to throw that pass for the first down. And man, it was freaking impressive. It was impressive. And that's just, to me, it's kind of one of those where it's that's what I was getting at. It's everything that we were worried about. Will the pass protection stand up?
Right.
Do they have enough weapons for Herbert? Is Herbert going to start using his legs? Like all of those things came into play on that particular snap. And it was pretty darn impressive, man.
It was. And just the whole, even when they didn't run the ball as effective as we would like, you still saw signs of it. You still saw the team still line up. And it's like, even when Herbert's throwing the ball, it's like, you're like, okay, just throw it. We don't care if you throw it 30, 40 times a game, because he's that impressive. And he takes off with his legs, and you see him not taking as much chances as times. He's not trying to run over everybody. He said, okay, he knows there's two guys in front of him. You see him now go into the slide. He's doing the things that he needs to do to protect himself, because you need this guy. If you're going to get where you want to get and get where this team can go this year, you're going to have Justin Herbert. He's going to have to lead you there. So I like what they're doing. Is there room for improvement offensively? Absolutely. Usually defenses are ahead, early. This offense is going to start clicking. I believe this running game has now even touched itself. And it's great to see a Najee run as hard as he will, catching the ball in the flat. Really impressed with the way Najee's running. You just see the difference between the two, the veteran and the rookie. You can see the rookie a little more excited and trying to make things happen. Najee just feels his way and understands important, wrapping up the ball, two hands, doing the things that a veteran would do. And it's interesting. You saw how Harbaugh in that game, they said, let's, throw Najee in there, let him do those things, picked up 5, 6 when he needed to, know when to get done, run as hard as you can. Okay, don't necessarily fight for as much, because we know they're going to try to strip the ball. So it's good to see Najee, and he's going to help Amari and Hampton out a whole lot.
Yeah, I think in defense of Amarion, you're talking about 2 carries in the first half. It's like
Yeah,
you gotta help your guy get into some rhythm. And look,
get rhythm.
when you got Justin Herbert and Herbert's doing what he's doing, I get it, man. Just he's the best player on your team. Just that. What do you want to do? You want the best player on your team to play as much as possible and to throw the ball as much as possible, and it's working. So, not complaining there. My point is simply for those that are saying, "What's wrong with Amari?" Got 2 carries, man. Yeah, you got to get a guy in a rhythm, man. You got to get those pads popping. Let him use it. You see that guy on the field, and I know you've seen him.
He runs hard,
and he's got Nick Bosa like quads. This guy's lower half it's not normal. It's freakish. So let that guy get working. Let him wear these guys down. And I think it's
what do you think that is? What do you think that the coaching staff says, hey, you know what? This is Herbert. Let's Herbert run, or do we say, okay, hey, look, it's a big game. We don't want to necessarily start with because I'm with you. You saw the first couple of series, like, man, when are we gonna get the run? Even though you're moving the ball, you're like,
right.
Okay, when are you gonna sprinkle a little bit more run in the game? And it's like you come out play action, you're gonna come out throwing the ball. It's because you got that guy as your quarterback,
or is it the other? Like the thing is too with those goal line carries, low is that again it was no Tucker Fisk, it was no Arande Gadsden. They kept all 6 receivers up. And to me, it's the entire game you're spread out. Like there's no credit card alignment this entire game. And then on 3rd and goal from the 1, you move Joe Alt to the right tackle next to Becton, and you don't have Tucker Fisk out there. It's like they know what's coming. They know exactly what it's going to be. And they sold out to that right side of the line and blew that play up. They had 2 defensive backs and 3 linebackers coming over top. They were like, whatever, man. If Justin would have run a naked boot, he could have laid down on the ground, stopped, drop, and roll, and rolled into the end zone. That's how overloaded they were. Right. It's like you haven't called one of these plays this entire game. Like there has not been a single play called that looks like this, and you're asking your guy to it's like just keep it spread out, man. Just keep your 4 wides out there and hand it to Amarion with this thing all spread out and let him go 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 because you know what? He's probably going to get it. And so I think that's sort of those things that you're talking about that they got to work through. But to your point, I love that you said it because I said it in the post game. I said, you know what my takeaway in this game is? I wasn't sure about the health and I was worried about some soft tissue and I didn't know about the vision. He's still wearing sunglasses around inside. I want to see Najee carry the ball more, man. I want to see more Najee because he's a pro, man. He's a pro. He's going to, however you block it up, he's going to get you every yard plus 1. That's what Najee, if it's blocked up for 3, he's going to get you 4. If it's blocked up for 4, he's going to get you 5. And you saw it at the end of the game there, man. He got stoned at the line of scrimmage. I'm sure you remember it, Lo. Yeah. Behind the line of scrimmage, he gets, let me pull up that play.
That was an amazing play. He gets hit and he turns sideways and
he
moves
the guy up.
Yeah.
And it was a no gain. It was going to be a loss. It was going to end up being about a loss of 3. And Najee ends up picking, let me see, where is it? It was late. It might have been, let's see. It might have been this one here. Let me see if it was this one here, just so I can talk through it. It's not that one.
I think that you're going to see, while you're looking for the play, I think you're going to see Amarion play better because now when Najee comes in, you're chomping at the bit even more because you're seeing that it can be done and you want to show them that you can do it. It's different when you have that role. So I think this is a great combination. And I think you're going to see Amarion play even better because he knows now you have a guy that if you're not playing well, he can carry the load.
It was, it's exactly. And I think those two are going to complement each other perfectly. So it's 4th quarter, 5 minutes, 21 seconds left, 2nd and 3. This was the drive that they ended up turning it over on downs. But this was a huge play because it kept you in a 3rd and 3 with all those options, right? So they hand to Najee. It's an offset eye from the left hash. Matlock is your fullback. Herbert hands to Najee, and they bring a run blitz with Devin White. And he comes, he ends up getting picked up. But I think it was Butler. Yeah, Butler comes free off of Matlock, and he hits Najee. So this ball was snapped at the 27-yard line. 27-yard line. He hits Najee. It's Max Crosby that gets him from the backside. That was the problem. The backside was coming free on all these rushes for whatever reason. Like they weren't sealing off the backside.
Didn't cut off. The cutoff was horrible.
Yeah. So here comes Crosby, and he ends up hitting it. Oh, yeah. They put Tyler Conklin on Max Crosby. It's like, that's not a fair fight, man. Not fair fight.
No.
So he comes flying off of Conklin, hits Conklin hits Najee at the 23-yard line. Max Crosby, 23-yard line. Najee keeps his legs moving. Butler comes off of Matlock. He's now got two guys on him at the 22-yard line. Najee shoulder dumps Max Crosby into the ground, carries him to the 25-yard line, falls forward to the 26. For what should have been a loss of 5, became a loss of 1. What's it going to look like in the box score? It's going to look like a carry for -1 yards, but that's all you need. It's like, hey, man, there's 5 minutes left. We're up 10 or we're up 11. I got to freaking keep this thing in third and manageable, and I'm going to drag 2 dudes with me that weigh a combined 520 pounds for 3 yards. And, man, it was impressive.
Yeah, I'm cutting it. I was in and out. Yeah. Them able to carry Max Crosby and lift him up and still pick up and still get back at least almost to the line of scrimmage line. That was very impressive by him and by Najee, the way that he picks his way and the way that he runs. There was a huge problem, though, like you said, with the backside. We talked about it earlier, losing your offensive tackle. When you run zone plays, take the step, and then you're slow through the hole and fast through. The backside, I always told you, becomes the front side, because when you get your foot, you want to plant in the ground and you want to sometimes cut back a hole, even 2 holes. If you plan against a guy like Crosby, who's going to get across your face fast, either you got to wash him into the line of scrimmage, but you can't let him create a new line of scrimmage and go laterally or behind the line of scrimmage. If you're going to let him beat you, beat him, but push him up the ball. So now you can wash him by the back cutting. Crosby was just beating guys across their face, getting in the backfield, able to run stuff down. You have to get a lot better with your seal blocks. Understand tight ends have to get, and even if they're if you can't make the block, even butt block them. You got to slow him down and knock him off the track, and at least stay between him. You have to stay between the defender and the runner, so at least the runner can cut back in front of you if need be. But if you let him take you all the way down, it's a nightmare. And that was a hindrance running the ball all night, because, like you said, the backside cutoff wasn't good.
Yeah, and look, and I think that just is because we got to get into the Denver Broncos here. We got 5 minutes or so to get into the Broncos, but I love that you brought it up, Lo, because it's so important. That's what destroys run plays, and you described it and helped it make sense for people like me and everybody else that's listening. But like, that's where, okay, Tyler didn't even have a single target. That's where you need Tucker Fisk. Like, that's not fair to Tyler Conklin that you're asking him to block Max Crosby one-on-one. Like, it's not even really a fair fight for Tucker Fisk. But give me the 265-pound guy that I've seen mash guys in the run game and stuff. I'd rather take my chances with him,
of course,
in that than. And so I'm wondering, as we kind of get into this Broncos game, if that's kind of what, because you look at their front, and it's a hell of a front, man. It's DJ Jones, it's Franklin Myers, it's Jonathan Cooper, it's Zach Allen, man. It's guys that are big and athletic. And so I thought we were going to see it in this one with Crosby and with Kuntz and with Wilson and with Butler, and just kind of how well they've been playing. I thought we would see the Tucker Fisk as active and a lot more of those 12 or 22s out there, if you want to, or 13s, however you want to count Matlock as a tight end or a fullback, but we just didn't see it. And I'm wondering if they're like, hey, we got to get this thing moving. We can afford to have either Keandre Lambert-Smith or Trey Harris, inactive. We've got our big 3 in Q, Keenan, and Ladd. They're going to take the most, it's okay for us to kind of drop one of those guys and bring in the beef and get that extra tight end out there to see if we can get this running game going a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that, because, again, as we get into this Bronco game, that's a front now. That's a heck of a front. And then you're talking about your linebacker level with Singleton, and obviously they add Greenlaw and Benito, who's always been a thorn in the Chargers side, and in the conversation as the best cornerback pair in football and Riley Moss and Patrick Surtain.
Oh,
So,
great corners.
Yeah.
Great corners. And I think this is what you've been leading to. It's interesting watching hardball and just the way that they think. Do you know this team thinks 3-4 games down the road? And it's crazy that you go into a game and you're like, God, they can't think about that. I don't think they've been running the ball purposely. I think they run the ball over 25 to 30 times against this Denver team.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see now, because we're like, where's the run game? Kansas City, you didn't necessarily do it. You've been throwing Herbert, you've been going 3-4 wides and just throwing around the park. I think this is going to be a team that you're going to see the Chargers land to these guys and say, okay, big boys, we're going to put our big boy pads on and we're going to run downhill and run at these guys, create a new line of scrimmage, and we're going to wear them out. In the second half, Herbert, you're going to do what you're going to do. You're going to still throw the ball around the field, but I think you're going to wear these guys out because they want to get after the pass rusher. But I think you can beat these guys up and run the ball on them. You saw the way that Daniel Jones, last week, Indy.
Jonathan Taylor, man, he ran all over him.
All over them, ran the ball. JT ran the ball all over them. You see the way the quarterback guy that people thought was done with the Giants comes into Indy and just reignites his career. So this is now a Charger team that everyone talks about, oh, well, you just do what you do. No, you always test the team and see if they got it fixed. When JT ran the ball the way he did against them, you don't just say, oh, we're not going to run the ball. No, you got to say they have to show us that Denver has this fixed. So it's going to be a good game. Denver's a good team, but I like the way the Chargers are heading. I like where they're going. I like the way they start off 2-0, because me and I talked about this team could have been 0-2 or 1-1, and they took the other road and said, let's be undefeated.
Yeah, exactly. And look, you do this, you end up getting this, and you end up going 3-0. And by no means am I making light of it and saying it's going to be an easy test. It is not. You remember what the Broncos looked like in that Thursday night football game at SoFi before they flipped that switch, with that free kick going into half and then carrying that momentum into the second half. They were getting their tails beat in that first half by this Bronco team. So it's not like this is an easy squad. They got better in the offseason. But you look at that Indianapolis game, and you got Daniel Jones passing for 9.3 yards per attempt, 316 a touchdown, no picks. You got Jonathan Taylor running for 165 on 6.6 per carry and a 68. Like Tyler Warren, and man, I'll tell you, I don't know what the hell the Bears were thinking in drafting Colston Loveland. Nothing against him, but you saw it at Penn State. This guy is a menace. He does everything, man. He runs the ball in the backfield. He throws the ball. He trucks dudes left and right. He is quickly going to start giving, I know it sounds like blasphemy, but they're just different types of players. He's going to start giving Brock Bowers. There's going to be a conversation here about, just because of all the things that Tyler Warren does, and to have a creative mind like Shane Steichen. And I'm so happy he went to a team. And look, I'll come clean. Shane's one of my favorite people ever. I love the guy. Hated that they let him get away because Brandon Staley didn't want to keep him and wanted to bring in his own guy. And it's like, hey, your own guy didn't want to come. He tried to get Kevin O'Connell, which obviously would have been a great hire. But when he didn't come, it's like Shane just coached Herbert to arguably the greatest quarterback season by a rookie ever. Might be good. Anyway, what Shane's doing with Tyler Warren, love to see that. And I think it just shows you that as good as that Broncos defense is, if you've got a bright offensive mind, which I believe we do in Greg Roman, that you can scheme it up, man. You can find windows for these guys to get open. And you had 79 for Warren, 68 for Pierce, 50 yards receiving for Taylor. Michael Pittman had 40. Like, they were able to spread that thing around. And that's what Herbert's done in every one of these games for Q and Ladd and Conklin in that first game and Keenan. Like, you can spread these guys out and cut them up. And so I think go back, watch that Indianapolis game and watch how Shane Steichen was calling that game, because you got a team in Indy that went up against the supposed best defense in football, and they averaged 7.1 yards per play.
Yeah,
7.1.
Amazing. And Denver's Broncos defense, you and I talked about, could be possibly one of the top-rated defense in the league when the dust settles. And right now, it hasn't shown that. So it's going to be interesting just to see, because we both understand a hungry dog hunts best. We know who the head coach is in Denver. You know that he is. Look, he's the type of guy, been around him, that at practice that this week, it's not going to be fun in Denver. Practice is not going to be fun in Denver. You know who this guy is. He understands. He wants to get those guys winning. So he's going to be on them. He's going to push this. Denver is going to have to show up. So the Chargers, And guess what? Harbaugh knows. Harbaugh knows that this is a game that Denver, they're going to see a different Denver. Denver's going to be playing physical. They understand Chargers can go up 2 games in the division. They understand, everyone understands that, hey, Chargers win this game. Let's face it, they're in the driver's seat. You are going to get the best from Denver, especially coming off a loss. This is going to be a big time challenge. And I'm going to tell you, this is going to be the biggest challenge thus far because of the situation and because of the spot, and especially playing off on a short week as well.
Yeah, I know you know him, Lo. I don't know. You don't have to say anything. I don't like him. I've never liked him. I just don't.
No,
I think
I get it.
I think he's a bad guy. I've never seen a head coach talk about other teams' players like Sean Payton does, and I just think it's Bush. When you're talking about Caleb Williams and he's not your guy, you're done, dude. If you got Bo Nix and that's your guy, talk up your guy. But don't be saying how you were scouting Caleb Williams and you saw these problems and you knew that this was going to be in it. Stop. Just stop, man. And it's no different than when he was on TV. And even though we could see it going sideways with Brandon Staley, when you're openly politicking for the Chargers job on TV, there's a code of conduct between head coaches, and you don't follow it. So I got no respect for you, and I want to see nothing but misery in your life. And it made me so happy to see that flag thrown and see that look on Peyton's face, knowing that he had that game won, and now it's lost, and you're 1-1. And that made me happy. I'm just going to say it.
Money, I love you. Money, I love you because you just tell it like it is. This is like, I can sit back and go, I want Money to get fired. I like you get fired. Let me just tell you. Let me just tell you. I can't say no. And your boy, I know you, and you know your boy loves him. Drew Brees. They have a great. But I see the things that you see too, and you don't. There is a code, that you don't do, and he's crossed that line, and that's just sometimes coaches do that, and you don't necessarily agree with it. I just want to see, like you said, Chargers start off 3-0. You have a great opportunity this week to put some more hay in the barn. You have this game. The Chargers need to play like their hair is on fire, knowing what's at stake. And if these men, and I know Harbaugh and this organization is going to say, do you guys really know what we can do this week? If you let this get away, this can bite you in the where. If you don't play the way that we're capable of playing, and we lose this game, you have set ourselves 2 games back, because if we go out and take care of business, we're controlling the division.
You're 3-0. Think about the tiebreakers. You now have a game and a half up on all of your opponents. You could argue 2 games. I heard Coach say this, and I was like, what does he mean? And then I started thinking about it. I was like, that's a really good point. You're 2-0 now. If you go 3-0 in the division, you now have the tiebreaker over all 3 teams. And you have the second tiebreaker over all 3 teams because you have the best division record. And that's the second tiebreaker in the division. So if you finish with the same record, let's say that you end up splitting with one of these teams. Well, your division record is going to be 5-1. So if you split and now the second tiebreaker is what's your record in the division, you go 5-1. It's going to be pretty hard for a team to have a 5-1 record in the division. So I think that's kind of speaking to what you're saying. 3-0 sets you apart from the rest of the division dramatically for the remainder of the season. Not going to be easy. But look, my disdain for their head coach does not take anything away from how good that team is. It is a good roster. I do think we've seen some things. I think the Chargers were able to give Bo Nix a gift last year in that first game when they completely shut him down in the first half and then allowed him to use his legs to get things rolling in the second half. It was his first really good game of the year, and he kind of went on a run from there. But I think we've seen it now that teams recognize, okay, it's kind of the Lamar Jackson thing. Take away the middle of the field. Just take away the middle, force him to throw outside the numbers, and that ball gets a little, gets a little, and it's a little off mark. And so he wants to throw it in the middle of the field. That's what he wants to do. And what do? You try to take away the opponent's superpower. And so I think you've seen that through 2 weeks now. It was a lot better last week. He still got 3 interceptions in 2 games. Still threw a pick in that game against Indy. And so I think there's solutions there. I also, selfishly, because I am a spiteful, petty human, I would love to see them shut out Evan Ingram, because it is my belief that the Chargers really wanted to sign him. And I do believe that a certain someone in Denver had a conversation with him and said, you want to come in my offense? I'm an offensive genius. Just ask me. Or you want to go play for Greg Roman. And is that what you want to do? You want to go play in that arm? You want to come over here and play? You see what I do with tight ends? Come over here. And what's Evan Ingram got? 4 catches for 33 yards. That's what you got, Evan. So I want to see him get 0 for 0. And every single time it happens, I want Greg Roman to take those reading glasses he's got and look down from the coach's booth. I want him to look at Sean Payton.
I love it. I love it, buddy. I love it. You're on fire, baby. You're on fire.
Yeah. Remember when he had that stupid ass thing on his play card and he knew that it was going to be caught by the camera and it said run the ball. Like it was obviously a troll against his. Sorry. No. It's good for me though. I can do it.
Yes.
I'm 155 pounds. I have no business talking about football. It's my prerogative to do this.
Let it fly. Let it rip, man. I can't wait to next week where you and I hopefully on the show and we're talking about 3-0, saying the Chargers that now the report card they can't get worse than a B. If you win 4, you think about this. You win the first 4 games. That's an A. A quarter's done. You go 8-0. You think about winning 4 games. That quarter, it's 4 quarters. You win. You think about it. Think this thing is quarters. Right now, you're 2-0. You find a way, win this game, win the next. You are 4-0, and the first quarter is complete. It can be. You're talking about being in. Find a way to win these 2 games. 80% of teams start 4-0. Guess what? You're in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're rolling, and the back end is a lot tougher than the front end. So, especially, I shouldn't say that because you got your 3 division games at the front. That's as hard as it gets, considering the impact of them. But when you're talking about a streak at the end of the season where you're going Philadelphia, Kansas City on a short week, at Dallas, Houston, at Denver, like that's what you're closing with, your final 5. Super Bowl champs, defending AFC champs, a Dallas team that's, always, they've got talent. And
they can score. They're going to score. Yeah.
You know what that Houston defense did to this team in the playoffs last year? And then you got a Denver team at Mile High. Never an easy place to play. And for whatever reason, it seems like the Chargers split with the Broncos almost every single year. They ended up sweeping them last year. So it's a tough back end. You got Denver here, followed by New York, Washington, Miami, Indy, Minnesota, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville. Like, let's go. All right.
Yeah.
We gave the people way too much. Listen,
yeah, we did. Hey,
we gave you more than you deserve. We gave you more than you deserve. An hour and 7 minutes. Jeez.
I know.
All right, we'll be back next week. Looking forward to it, Lo. Gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be a tough game for all of my shots, personal attacks.
It's okay, man. It's okay. They got your back. These Chargers, they understand what you're saying. They feel your pain, so they're gonna go and we're gonna bolt up. That's all I can say. Exactly. Bolt up, baby.
Bolt up. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week.